the reason I'm able to make stuff like edit this video, which is what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to work on the Osmo 3 audio, and I'll show you how to clean it up the way that I cleaned it up. The idea is that you do something that forces you to do stuff, right? So in my case, a lot of my content comes from having a podcast. So in order to make a podcast, I have to come up with ideas to talk about for 10 or 20 minutes. And in order to come up with ideas to talk about for 10 or 20 minutes, I actually create other content. I go out, I go for a walk, and I use that walk to get some inspiration, and I record that walk, or in this case, bike ride, which you'll see in a second, to get inspiration from whatever's around me. And in this case, I've kind of been putting off my editing workflow. I'm just going to do the audio bits first, and I think this will be very beneficial for you guys that have Osmo Pocket 3s, because something about the lapel mic is that it's mono, and we also have audio coming from the Osmo that is in stereo, and you can really pick up that environmental factor, things moving around left to right, and get that whole like immersive vibe. So I want to show you how I combine both of the files, the lapel mic and the stereo audio, into one sort of mixed down audio file, so that I can then take that and I'm going to show you like a crazy workflow, but it'll be in the next video. So if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button. But I'm going to be honest with you, most of my content is not about making content, but just come back here later. I do just kind of just talk about ideas, philosophy, whatever it is I'm thinking about, whatever software I'm using. So, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of it, but it's not all of my content, right? So, also I make music, so like that's the main thing, right? Yeah, so I do a lot of stuff. So I'm not like I'm kind of unniched, I guess. So, if you like my personality or anything I'm saying makes sense to you, then that's more of a reason to subscribe, I guess, than like for tutorials, because I'm not like an expert at any of this stuff. But I do know a little bit about a lot. Okay, so let's head over to, let me share the stream. I did not realize I was live. Actually, I'm not going to share the stream. I'll share the next one. The next stream is going to be good because we're going to take this footage that we fixed the sound with, and we're going to start trying to find a story from something that may not have a story. Like we were out walking around, or actually on the bicycle. It was freezing cold, and I don't know if I said anything decent. So, but hopefully we can use the AI and Descript to figure out some kind of story, or even come up with like new audio that we can record for that. I just want to make sure, actually, hold on. I do want to make sure this is live. I'm really sorry about the intro there. I didn't know that I was actually live. They keep changing the settings, like in the back of YouTube, the way that it looks. So I was just you're probably staring at my nose or something the whole first 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm just staring. That's funny. Hopefully I didn't say anything too insulting or offensive. All right, and let's see here. We got so let's go into resolve, guys. So this bit is basic. You know, start a new resolve session. I think this is kind of on being flaky, but it's not. It's like I don't know. I'm gonna save it as, I don't know, night flaky. Although it's more about kind of like getting stuff done, or like forcing yourself to get stuff done. So then we're going to take the files from the hard drive that I just copied over from the Osmo, and bring that in. And so we're only going to do the WAV and the MP4. I'm going to show you how to do this. Yes, we're going to change the project frame rate, and we're going to drag both of these in like this. And I'm going to be on the edit page, actually. I mean, this is fine, but I'm going to go to the edit page, and I'll show you. So the extra audio file, for some reason, always shows up over here. So we're going to drag it back, and you select both of them by hitting Shift, right-click, and then do Auto Align Clips to Waveform Sync. And there you go. There's that, right? All right, and on this page, I do want to turn down, actually, no, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Okay, and we're going to do the other video because we have a couple. There's 3, right? So we're going to do the same thing, WAV, MP4. We're going to drag these in, and we're going to align the waveforms. And if you're here, feel free to say hi, because I realize this is kind of not exactly the most exciting bit yet. Sync. But we're going to get it. We're going to get it. All right, so now the audio should be in sync. And then we're going to do one more. I think it's just 3 clips. I don't even know. I mean, probably one of these is throwaway, but whoops. Just for the sake of the video. Okay. So there's that one. And then we're going to sync these 2 up. Sync. Auto align clips to the waveform. Sync. Okay, great. And so the first wave that is burned into the video is the mono file from here. And so what we want to do is get the stereo file. Yeah. So I'm just going to do it all in one. Sometimes I do like a composition. But I think to simplify all this so that we can just do it all on one screen, we're going to do it this way. Okay. So there's a few things that I like to do. One, the background noise. So let me show you. Like this track. That's a thing. That's me talking, right? And then this track, that's the lapel mic, and this is the. You can't hear my voice so clear, but you get that like environment thing going on. So what I like to actually do is go over here to the music remixer and actually mute the voice. Also, guys, this part I think you can do. I don't know. You might have to have Resolve Studio. I don't know for sure. I don't know if this is. But the HDR workflow I'm going to show you guys later, you are going to need Resolve Studio. And so we're just getting rid of my actual voice so that now the only thing we have is the environment sound. How cool is that, right? So like that's already a big step in the right direction. Now we have this 3D stereo environment going on. And so, so now I want to go here. And I'm not sure I went in the right order. I don't think I did. Yeah, this is coming back from the market. So this was, I think, the first. No, this is not the first clip. I'm not even sure which clip this is. All right, let's go get our food. Hopefully it's still open. Okay, that was like the end of the video. This should be. Okay. So this was, so they're all out of order. So let's flip these around here. So this is the end. This is the beginning. And this is, I know this because I filmed it. Okay. This is going to pick up the food. This, oops, I did not mean to do that. And then this is, hang on. And then this one is kind of the ending, headed home after I got the food. I turned it off to get the food, which I don't know, maybe that's not smart for watch time. A lot of complaining. It was very cold. Ants. And holding the selfie stick on the bicycle was a little bit of a challenge. But it looks, actually the footage looks really cool. And so if you want to know how to get, like right now I'm not in HDR, but I need to be, right? Just 1 second. So we'll get to the exporting in HDR in a second, because I think there's a lot of like problems like people have exporting HDR. I've had these problems. Like I had the Osmo forever, and like I couldn't figure out how to get the HDR to work properly, even though I had all what I thought was all the settings correct. So, all right. So real quick. So what we're gonna do now is go over to the actual audio mixer on the Fairlight page. So that's down here. Can you see that I've clicked Fairlight? It's okay. It's cut off. Let me here. Yeah, you can take my word for it. There's a little. I swear there's a thing down here. Hold on. Why can't I see the Fairlight? It's really bizarre. Okay, well, you know what? It's there. So you know how to get to the Fairlight tab if you have Resolve, right? It's just the one that looks like the music. So You have the edit page, the cut page, the color page, and you have the one that looks like a music note. So this is just only audio mainly. And you can see now that we have this, now we have a stereo file, right? There's two sides, left and right. And on this one, oh, this is also stereo for some reason. That's interesting. What's a stereo? It's a mono, it's a stereo file of a mono.
You got a flat tire or something.
Hold on a second. I just want to make sure. Well, I don't even know. It's not the same file now. Okay. It's not, because it looks different, right? This one, you can see it's like more ambience, and this one is more direct dialogue. It's just odd that it's showing this as stereo, but it's fine. It is mono, just so you know. It used to just be like a mono file. I think it's just maybe for ease of use for video editing software to just have it. Oh, yeah, I see what it is. Yeah, it's a mono recording converted to a stereo output. That makes sense. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, so the main thing we did in the first bit was get rid of the vocals by using the music remixing, right? And now we're going to do the opposite, but we're going to use a different tool inside of this thing. So we're going to actually use the voice isolation thing. Excuse me. Voice isolation. You can see me clicking this tiny thing. It says voice isolation. If you click these little hamburger menu, you get this tool. And I like to go, if you do 100%, sometimes it will guess things that are not words or that are words and cut them out. So in the off chance that it cuts out a word that is a word, I like to still have a little bit of that audio in there. So I do like to do it about 75, maybe 80%, depending on how it sounds.
A couple of vendors out.
So there's still like a lot of
chicken place.
Hold on, let me hit solo here.
Place is already closed.
There we go. So this is just that track.
Had some really rough chicken experience earlier. Pretty sure I got food poisoning, but this is not a channel about complaining about food poisoning. It's just like when you feel that hit.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with 77, something somewhere in between there.
This is already closed. Had some really rough chicken experience earlier. Pretty sure I got food poisoning.
I want to go to 80, but I don't think. And now we know we can.
Fine, serving you cold food. Like, oh, you ordered food? Here's the one that's been sitting here.
Lots of complaining going on, but that seems to be trending on YouTube anyway. So I think we'll be all right.
Even fried food, like. You'll go by a booth or a stall and they'll just have fried food, French fries.
Okay, so that is clean, pretty clean audio. Now we're going to use the dialogue leveler. So that's the next one down here and click the hamburger menu. And for the dialogue, I like to keep pretty much all of this by default. And then that's it, right? Now, what I also want to do is
chicken, all kind of stuff just sitting there, and it's just been there, just been sitting there.
Raise the volume of the dialogue now, and lower the volume of the background noise. The easy way to do this is to just turn it all the way down, the background noise, and then press play, and then bring it back in.
You're like, you just have to gamble. I don't know. Is it worth testing whether or not the fries are fresh or not, you know? All right, we're gonna switch hands a little bit.
Okay, and then one more thing. Actually, gonna go back because it sounds like a little too clinical to me. So instead of the music remixer using it to mute the voice, I'm just gonna use it to turn the voice down, like maybe like a lot, like 25 dB, because there's like those voices in the background and like stuff like that. And so hopefully it's not, maybe even just 10. No, we'll go with 15. Let's do 15. Minus 15. So we still get a little of the like actual ambience of where we are, kind of, but it's not like too ambient. This is the whole point of this, is to not be like to have the audio clean, but like it also needs to sound natural.
Had some.
So you can kind of hear like
This is not a channel about complaining about food poisoning.
maybe even
like,
just mine.
When you feel that hit, and your stomach starts to churn, just go get that charcoal, man. Just knock it out, right out of the park.
Yeah,
Actually, I feel better than I did before.
I dodged a huge bullet yesterday.
Normal sense of like how to act, how to behave. Just always.
So that's starting to sound really clean, right? And we can do like a before and after, a minus, if we, we take this music remixer off. All right, so now...
Like look, I skipped one of my best friend's weddings. And I'm not even sure why. Fine, serving you cold food.
And I can really hear that 3D thing going on, right? You can hear the background noise and stuff in stereo, which is nice because, like I said, you don't normally have that with just the lapel mic. It's usually just in mono. So one more thing is I actually like to use the dialogue leveler on that track as well. And I know this is for dialogue, but it's just a compressor, a dynamics processor. So we're going to do, reduce loud dialogue. The only thing we're going to do is remove this background noise reduction because we don't want to, because that's the whole point of this track, right? This is background. So we're going to remove that and then leave it. So now it'll kind of like be a more averaged volume. So you don't get too many spikes, like if a motorcycle drives by or something like that.
You ordered food? Here's the one that's been sitting here forever.
But you do notice the sound in the background.
You'll go by a booth or a stall and they'll just have fried food, French fries, chicken, all kind of stuff just sitting there, and it's just been there. It's just been sitting there. And you're like,
okay, and
you just have to gamble. I don't know. Is it worth
turn the noise
testing
up.
whether or not the fries are fresh or not? All right, we're gonna switch hands a little bit. That was getting exhausting. There you can see more of the road, less of the noise. Some car stops.
There, that's nice.
A little bit sketch. Well, it's a good thing we have this weapon of truth here.
So I think about -5 for the stereo environment sound.
Possibly purchase. It's just so heavy duty.
Maybe even lower. Maybe I like, part of me wants to do -8.
I don't know how the camera will look, but I'll actually link that in the description. Why not? Why not? It's just been a weird video, and I get it. But you get to see some of rural Thailand at night.
It's just clean. Now your audio is super clean. Like you just get the voice is so clean and crisp, and then you have this environmental thing that's just kind of leveled out and nice. And so we could blend the two together. The voice obviously needing to be louder, and the environmental thing we've suppressed, but it's still there so that we don't feel like we're just talking in a vacuum the whole time. And one more thing to put on here is the limiter. Whoops, go under dynamics here. I don't know if you can see this. Yes, you can. Just put a limiter on the output so you don't clip anything. And
catch like a too late night vibe, just slightly too late to be doing anything.
Just in case there's a
productive
peak,
or worthwhile.
Peak.
And it's not like you're in a big town.
Okay. And we're just going to head over to here. All right. So we could, now that we've got the footage actually organized, I can export this as one big file. But let's go over the HDR settings. So in your project, you want to hit the little preferences thing. It looks like this. I'm going to just drag this over so you can see the little screw thing. Can you see it? I don't know why I can't get more of the screen. I really don't. Anyway, there's a little screw icon here, or you can do, I think, preferences. And so you want to hit that. And then you want to go over to color management. So this is very important for HDR stuff. Your color space is no longer that. It is color managed by Resolve. Unless you're an expert colorist, which I'm not, then you'll need to do this. And then instead of SDR, We're going to go to HDR. Now we're in HDR mode. All right, but the problem is the output is still Rec 709, still a regular video. So we have to go down to HDR, and now there are differences between HDR, HLG, and HDR PQ. And I think PQ is probably more for films and whatnot, but HLG it kind of is that more natural, like stuff popping out of the screen, sort of iPhone look, I think. And then we're gonna also hit the mastering for 1000 nits. And instead of, some people like to click this HDR 10 plus, but that gives the device itself permission to adjust your color grade even more. And so I kind of don't like doing that. I don't, that's just a personal preference. So if you wanted to, you could turn on HDR 10 plus, and you could turn on this vivid mode, which also gives the device more ability to sort of figure out what it thinks is nice for the colors of your footage. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and click save. And then also, like, if we want to make sure we're watching in HDR, I believe there's a setting somewhere. Color space, color space, color space. Look up tables. Master settings. Yeah, here. Video monitoring, right? So you want to make sure that you are in video bit depth 10. Okay, so enable HDR metadata. You can click that here as well, and then hit save. And then now actually my footage just sort of popped out of my screen a little bit right here in the monitor. It looks the same probably for for you guys, but like this just popped out. Like that's what HDR is all about. It's the whole like 3D pop that everybody wants. It's just, that's what HDR is. It looks crazy. So now we can actually export this legitimately. And sometimes I do this like per clip. Like I'll do I for in and O for out, and export this clip, and then export this clip, and export this clip. But since I know this is all the order and everything is correct for me at this point, I'm going to export just one long clip in HDR, and that's it. That's sort of the workflow for getting the best audio out of the lapel mic and the stereo mic built into the Osmo. Also, if you are worried about noise, you could apply noise reduction and like to the surround, the stereo thing, or apply more processing if you're worried about sounds and things that you're not supposed to be in there. But in this case, I think this is pretty good. And you could also let's maybe process the voice a little bit more. Like it did feel a little bit dull, and so we're gonna just, while we're in here, we're just gonna hit the EQ, and we're just going to have a look, right?
Market tonight.
As I've kind of noticed, the lapel mic has this like wonkiness around between like this 500 and 800 thing. Let's just like to take a little bit of that out and adjust this Q factor. So this is my audio engineering problem. Adjust this Q factor to about maybe 1.5 or 2. And we're just doing a subtle thing. But it just seems to be like an extra boost there. And then also,
I think I might have run over a nail or something. I got a flat
band 5 is a shelf. So we can add some more high end.
Just a couple of vendors out. My chicken place is already closed. Had some
adding that. And then maybe cut the low end out also.
Earlier. Pretty sure I got food poisoning. But this
just
is
a
not
super
a channel
rumble
about
out.
complaining about food poisoning. This is like when you feel that hit and your stomach starts to churn, just go get that charcoal and just knock it out. Right out of the park. Actually, I feel better than I did before I ate the chicken. So,
all right, and I feel like that's a good blend of.
Maybe I'll take the bike over.
I kind of want to turn.
Say bye to the cousin. And so
part of me wants to turn the noise up, the environment noise up. But then again, there's that bump there, so maybe it's fine.
บะหมี่แห้งไหม
เหลือเป็นลูกชิ้นได้ไหมครับหมูแดงหมดบะหมี่
หม
แห้ง
ด
ลูกชิ้นได้ไหม
หมด
บะหมี่แห้งลูกชิ้น
Okay, cool, right? And he was trying to tell me that they don't have the red pork, but they have the balls. I didn't realize it. I don't know, Ty. But that's what he was trying to tell me. So we're going to go ahead and now that we have all the settings set correctly, I just want to double check and make sure that the balance is set. Yes. Oh, I have the mute voice checked here. That's why the volume jumped. Okay. And then the mute voice is not set here. Okay. So now we should get a better environment sound. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be really nice. And so let's go ahead and export the entire timeline here. And this is going to be a new file. So this is just basically, like, there's other ways to do this, but this is just basically another file. Like, it's just another raw edit. So this is the night flaky raw and audio. I'll just put like audio. Okay, and then we'll do audio. Not, that's confusing, right? Mics, I guess. I don't know. No, that's also confusing. Let's just do raw. All right. And we're going to browse, and we're just going to stick this in the same folder. Night Flaky Vlog, save. And this is very important, right, for the H.265, the HDR footage. If you're really super lazy, you can always be on the edit screen, go to quick export, and select the HDR version. In this case, we're going to do it kind of manually. And so we're not going to do QuickTime. So for those of you on PC, you're going to do also, you're on MP4. And instead of the, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. All right. That's fine. This is important stuff, right? So we just rename the file here. We selected the folder we're going to export it to. Instead of MOV, we switched to MP4, but MOV probably would work. But the biggest problem here is, again, it defaults back to H.264. We want to select H.265 so that we can have HDR footage. And then we're going to do optimize for speed, the timeline frame rate. Right now we're using main 10 as the profile. If you have a fancier camera and you have like a higher quality 422 camera, you can do this main 422 10-bit, but we're not going to do it. And then you select add to render queue. Okay. And that's it. You can hit render all, or like I said, if you were doing separate clips, like you want to just like pre-edit, you could do like an in and out point, add to render queue, do another in and out point, add to render queue. But I'm feeling particularly, I'm a little bit lazy, as you know, and so I'm just gonna render the whole thing as a new file, import that into Descript, and then go nuts with it. So let's do it that way. All right, and if you are curious about being a creator, if you are trying to get unstuck being a creator, check out the podcast Being a Creator. It's right here on this channel. It should be up here. And also YouTube recommends another video over here. And thanks again for hopping in on this live stream with me. I know it's been kind of a rough all over the place thing, and I'll try to clean up the beginning bits, but thanks again. And stay tuned, because I'm going to go into the coming up with a story, editing HDR footage in Descript next.